Welcome everyone to the Whovians cast. I am your host, Matrix Lloyd 212, and I'm with Tharies. What's up, Tharies?
Not too much, man. How are you?
Well, if you blink, I guess you'll miss a teaser because
Jesus Christ.
I gotta tell you, I had to work that day, and I wasn't really expecting much because of what Chibnall's been doing lately, especially with the children in need not giving us anything. And every year it's less and less and less. So I was like, I had to go to work, and I'm like, all right, if anything, I'll cover it later. But again, it wasn't really. Everybody waited all day long.
Yeah, I was waiting like literally. I had obviously plans for about 3 videos that day. The one video was about when they announced the Steel Books. I was at school when they announced the Steel Books. I was like, right, I'll do something on that.
Yes.
The other thing was, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, fan trailer. This guy called Vlogsy did an amazing fan trailer of all the Doctor saving Gallifrey with Jodie Whittaker incorporated. It was really well done.
So I got to see that. Okay.
Yeah, it was really good. So I did a reaction to that, and the other thing was obviously what we got. And what we got was practically nothing. I even said in my video, it's not that much different to what we got at the Comic-Con, which was pretty much agreed upon to be a huge disappointment. It's not.
I mean, talk about social distancing. I guess the people that made the trailers were sitting at home, and could not make any trailer or anything.
Maybe they don't have any Wi-Fi there.
Maybe they're not allowed to be social They got a social distancing from the BBC and Doctor Who itself, or just not do trailers now.
Maybe it just seems ridiculous to me that I don't think it would have been so bad if they hadn't have hyped it up in the way they did. But the Twitter accounts were constantly like, "Ooh, only a day till the 23rd, only 2 days to the 23rd."
I think he likes to piss us off because the thing is that it would have been better to have nothing at all.
Pretty much,
because we all know, like, again, I'm not tooting my own horn, but all the way back over a year ago, I got insider info from my source that Captain Jack was in Series 12 and the special after, and this is before it aired when they were filming.
The thing is, after Fugitive as well, like, we all sort of assumed he'd be back anyway because it would be a waste of a cameo if he was just in that.
Right, but like when I did my cast, there wasn't even the Fugitive, didn't even air. So I was talking about it, and my own members are like, "You're crazy. Captain Jack hasn't been seen in ages, and there's no way he could be at filming because he's home doing home repair or something," which I knew was a lie. I knew that he was flat out lying, and the old adage of Moffat said is that they lie. They have to lie because they can't tell you what they're doing. So when it came out that some of my own members were like, they didn't believe me. They were wrong. And I was right. I still stuck to my guns, and I even had the thumbnail, and I said, Captain Jack will be in that special. You will see. And I had the Daleks, and this was a year ago. And now it comes out, and it's like, oh, okay, here it is. But they only gave us 5 seconds. Why can't they give us a trailer? Like, what is the big deal?
I don't get it anymore. It was one of those. This thing was filmed in, I believe,
a while ago.
It was October of 2019 they wrapped it, I believe, because I remember
October 31st, Halloween.
Yeah, I believe
at 11:02 at night. 11:02 at night, they wrapped filming. They did the wrap party before it wrapped because everybody was going to shoot different things. But the actual
the night that they released that leaked image of the Daleks on Clifton Suspension Bridge.
Yes,
I remember that coming out, and I did a video on it. And shortly after, like literally just after I published that video, I went to see a theatre performance. That's why I remember that night quite well. And obviously that video did quite well at the time, about 5,000 views, because obviously it's the Daleks coming back. Everyone wanted to know what was going on. But it was like,
and the funny thing is, the people that were hired for security were so happy to see the Daleks that they leaked pictures.
We've all known that the Daleks are coming back.
Of course, they have a contract. They have to appear all the time,
and their name is literally in the title. And we all know that Captain Jack was coming back, not only through your stuff, but obviously the behind-the-scenes stuff. You can literally see him in some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So it was a secret to practically no one that he was coming back. But yet the BBC bigged it up as if it was this huge thing. It's like we all knew, and even if you didn't have that prior context, it would have been just a lame cameo if he was just in Fugitive of the Jaduna. That's it. Like,
but I also want to bring something up
with the Jaduna as well. Like he says,
I want to bring something up about
I'll be back when the Doctor needs me, or something like that. So we all knew it was.
But I want to bring something up about that because some people try to make it that he was an add-on because of something. They made a whole story around his appearance that it was rushed, and he was just thrown in there for ratings. And no, this was always part of the plan. Captain Jack was always part of the plan. He wasn't just thrown in there for a reshoot. He was always going to be in Series 12, and he was always going to be in the special. And this wasn't a shoehorn thing. This wasn't a rushed thing. He was part of the plan with Chibnall all along. So there's some people out there that are lying, saying that he was just thrown in there. It looked funny. It looked off. No, that's the way it was always supposed to meant to look.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the cameo was like, you take it out, and I don't think fans would think of that episode as highly as they do. In my opinion, I think a lot of that episode is overrated because of the nostalgia elements. But yeah, I do agree that it always seemed intentional. Plus, obviously, Chibnall and John Barrowman have a working relationship before, obviously working on Torchwood and stuff. So it's no real surprise to me that he would eventually come back. And if he was going to be under any showrunner, it was going to be Chris Chibnall.
Yeah, and Chris Chibnall has been very vocal about saying flat out that he's best friends with David Tennant. He is friends with John Sim. He would love to have Amy and Rory back.
Yeah, I think that the most likely characters we're going to get back are going to be ones that he's written for. So the Amy and Rory thing, he did write Amy and Rory in Power 3 and the Silurian two-parter as well. He did write for them in that. So he does have that previously established relationship with them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to get any companions back, it's probably going to be Amy and Rory because he wrote for them. Maybe Martha as well because he wrote her in 42.
Yes, and I also expect John Sim too, because he said that regardless of anything, he's a fan of John Sim more than anything. So he would have John Sim's Master Pop in there too.
I mean, to be fair, having a John Sim Sacha Dhawan crossover would be just amazing. Like, I'm not a huge fan of this era, but I love Sacha Dhawan's Master. Yeah, I'm a big fan of John Sim's Master. He was my first proper Master. So I think seeing those two together would be cool. That would get me excited personally. Like the John Barrowman thing, yes, it was exciting at first, but there's only so many times you can have that sort of novelty of Jack coming back, because we've already had it in Fugitive of the Jadoon. Like if we hadn't had it in Fugitive of the Jadoon and he just showed up randomly in Revolution, that would have been a cool surprise for the anniversary. But because we already kind of knew it, it didn't have the impact that I think the BBC thought it did. So you have the BBC hyping up this massive thing that we all already do, which is why I think that the marketing was so disappointing. That, and obviously, come on, you can give us a trailer. You've had this thing.
They could have gave us a trailer. Like it's not fair. You've had the slap in the face.
You've had the thing sitting completed since like November, editing and stuff. It's been done a while. Since, like, November of last year. It's just been sat there. So why wouldn't you release something? It doesn't make any sense.
And they purposely held it because the thing before the coronavirus, they thought that Chibnall was going to fall behind, and they were going to delay the series anyway before the coronavirus, so that the holding the special back, which is something they've never done in Doctor Who history, holding the special back was an insurance policy, so that way it wouldn't be too long, because they would release the Revolution of the Dalek special on New Year's Day, and then there would be a big delay with Doctor Who filming, like 10 months, whatever, because it was already taken more than 10 months. And, it would look like it's normal. But now, now he's using this excuse with the coronavirus that he's got to cut up 3 episodes, which I think is baloney. I think that he was always going to cut 3 episodes before the coronavirus because he always struggled with it.
I kind of get the episode reductions for the virus, but what I will say is that it doesn't bode well for the fact that Series 12 felt like it was so brief anyway, and taking 2 more episodes out of that. Like, let's face it, Doctor Who was relevant for a very brief period this year. And obviously, I know there was bigger news, but like it was literally blink and you'll miss it, Series 12.
Well, that's the problem with the release date. They should not have released Series 12 on New Year's Day. They should have released it in April, like the plan was originally.
Oh, alternatively,
and then you would have had it gone into the summer, like May or June, whatever. And then, but they wanted to pop it out really fast.
An alternative idea would be, imagine if they'd have released Spyfall Part 1 on Christmas Day. So you've got that cliffhanger of the Master, and then it says it returns New Year's Day.
Right. But now we had this cliffhanger of her going to jail, and now it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Since March till now, it's like, hello, that's a long time for.
Yeah, exactly. But imagine if they'd have released Spyfall Part 1 on Christmas Day, and then say, I don't know, when would have been a better time? Probably maybe like the summer or March, somewhere like that.
Yeah, like Easter or something. Yeah.
You drop the rest of the series. That would actually get people excited to see what the rest of that storyline is, how it unfolds.
I'm worried. I'm worried because I feel that the problem is if you cut the episode count because of coronavirus, what's going to happen is everybody's going to wonder when this is over, the coronavirus, if you're going to restore the episode count back to the way it was because the coronavirus will be done. And I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. The BBC, it's going to be very tempting for the BBC if they can get away with 8 episodes to be like, we're going to keep it away with 8 episodes and no one minded and we got to spend less money. Let's do that again.
I'm worried about it going from 14, then it went to 13, then it went to 12, then it went to... It's because every time it's been chopped away.
You know what that announcement reminded me of when they announced the 8-episode thing? It reminded me of Trial of a Time Lord. It reminded me, because obviously Trial of a Time Lord was a shorter season, in a time where the show was in a very turbulent place. It was basically the last chance saloon for the show,
either regenerate it or cancel it, and they regenerated it.
And they regenerated it. So I think this is my theory. If the next era of this show fails after Jodie Whittaker leaves, which I'm presuming is going to be maybe the end of series 13 or the 60th, whatever they decide to do.
No, she's with it for series 14. Totally. She did the radio. I mean, I knew about that for a while, the contract extension, but she announced it just recently that she's doing the series after this.
Let's say it's the
14, which we don't even know when that's going to be now because everything's so delayed.
Wrapped up by the 60th, right?
Right, it would be,
The era after that will be the make or break one. That will be the Sylvester McCoy one. Whereas,
I honestly think no. I think what the plan is that after the 60th, it's going to take a break.
It could.
I think it's going to take a break for a while because it's going down in the ratings, and they're going to need a couple of years to get a good showrunner so I think they may leave it on a cliffhanger.
It needs a full-scale reinvention, and I don't mean the half-step that Series 11 was, where it's like, a couple of things are new, but by and large, it's the Doctor Who that you all sort of know, with a quirky Doctor and, the same similar TARDIS and screwdriver, whatever. It needs a total overhaul completely, like 2005 was, where it's just a complete reinvention, boom. They didn't go far enough with Series 11, in my opinion. It wasn't unique enough.
It was his experiment season that failed because he didn't create anybody interesting enough.
It was experimental, but also it was experimental in the most boring way, in that it didn't really do anything experimental that made you go, oh, that's quite interesting.
Right, he didn't create like a Weeping Angels or a Silence or anything. They were all like the Tooth Fairy villain, Tim Shaw was boring as that.
We need a 2005 Series 1 style complete, just new villains, not all new villains, but I mean villains that are reinterpreted.
Long-standing new villains, though.
Yeah, long-standing new villains, and we need a Doctor that's just going to have that immediate presence and a companion that's going to hit the ground running, because I think that without that, I think the show is just going to stagnate. We've already seen that they're trying to go back to old stuff. Now, on paper, going back to old stuff isn't a bad idea, provided the current stuff you're doing is good. Problem is, the current stuff you're doing isn't great, so relying on the old stuff as a crutch, to me, isn't a sign of a brand in a healthy place. When you have to constantly go back to old things to sustain the new stuff, it's kind of like what Star Wars has done, where they keep relying on the original trilogy, because no one likes.
I think she should have a companion that is a crossbreed between an ice warrior and a human, like a female, and it's caught between two worlds. And I think it should be an ice warrior princess that's half human, half. And what happens is at first she's blue, whatever, but then she starts becoming more humanistic because, again, it will also cost a lot of money for the prosthetics and the special effects. And I think that they should do a companion from an alien perspective.
I think
that will throw a nuance into it, you know.
I think the only issue you have, and I've always liked the idea of an alien companion as a fan, but the only issue you have is from a general audience perspective. If the two characters you're following are two aliens, it might be hard.
Well, that's why you throw a human into the part. Like you would have
do that as well.
You would have the human at conflict with the Ice Princess.
Saying that though, like I think people are a lot more accustomed to seeing non-human things and being fine with it now. I think we've progressed past the point where every story has to have that relatable person from the 21st century, so that I mean, I'd like to think we've progressed past that point now, because
I'm actually more excited with the concept of Series 14 rather than Series 13, because Series 14 would probably be her, Jodie Whittaker, with new companions.
Yeah,
totally new, not like Man of Gill, not like, I mean, total. I'm talking like just like a clean slate.
Yeah,
like right after Deadly Assassin, it's like, okay,
yeah,
we're gonna have a brand new companions.
It'll be like the season 18 for Whittaker, where it's like, complete reinvention, but just with the same.
That's what we need.
Yeah, we need a complete reinvention. We need, obviously, John Nathan Turner's direction was quite divisive, but you can't deny it was a complete change from what came before. So I think that's what we really need for Doctor Who. I think it's becoming stagnant. It's becoming like, even, Series 12 feels a lot like what came before. It's very derivative of what came before.
Yeah, he's taken so many episodes and twisted them.
Exactly.
And grinded them, mixed them. It's like Spyfall was like again, Utopia Sound the Drums Last on Time Lords. It was like
on
weird.
Its own, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But again, if you have to rely on that, it's not a good sign. But speaking of the numbers and where we think the show's going, and obviously release dates and stuff, I wanted to talk briefly about just the mess that the Revolution of the Daleks release date is. Like, we've got some websites saying Christmas, we've got some websites saying New Year.
It shouldn't say Christmas, because here's the thing. It's November 25th, so we have exactly 30 days.
Yeah.
Right? You would definitely have a trailer by now if it was Christmas. It's not Christmas. It's New Year's Day. It's New Year's Day.
It's got
because there's no way they're going to promote a special 3 weeks or 2 weeks in.
It's got to be. It's got to be New Year's Day.
It's New Year's Day. I'm going to say flat out it's New Year's Day.
Because I mean, here's the thing though. Like, I saw one website say it was before March. So, like, what I'm saying is we've got all these different dates.
Well, here's the thing. It is possible, scary as it may be, because they are so in the loop about the coronavirus. They could make an announcement that they could delay the special.
They might.
Yeah. Now, if they delay, here's the thing, the timeline of the filming. If they delayed the special till, because say it was originally intended to be New Year's Day, it's going to come in 2021 regardless. So if they delayed it till March or April, then the time span from the next time we see the series would be less than 10 months. And it would be the illusion that Doctor Who would appear less than 10 months, even though it's been way longer, obviously.
Yeah, and also,
you count it after March, but
if they have Revolution in 2021, they can say that they had 9 episodes in 2021, so it's closer to what the original episode count would be with 10 episodes.
No, it wouldn't be 9 episodes because, well, here's the thing.
Like, technically, they would have.
Yes, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it could. Yeah, right. But here's the thing: that 8 episodes, right? Are we clear if they're going to release 7 episodes and then have one as a special?
Yeah, we don't know.
We might get 7, and then they have the special, which would be 8. So we won't even get 8 episodes when it comes back. We'll have 7.
If that's the case, like it's gonna just be on for so little amount of time, and it's gonna be relevant for so short.
Like, we got a comment. Joker Smithers, I think the Master needs to be given a rest for a bit if they're going to be portraying him like a mid cartoon character. Well, here's the thing with that.
Like the Master, but yeah,
because they stuck their foot into it, they have to have him appear.
Yeah,
because he's the one that explained this whole timeless child nonsense.
Let's face it.
So he needs to appear so they could say that was nonsense. Basically.
And also, one of the few things about this era that most fans can sort of agree of is of some level of quality. Like, that and the Roof Doctor are the two things that people are like, yep, okay, we're fine with that. So I think to not include him in some capacity would kind of be almost suicide for the BBC to not include him as well, because he's the most liked part of this current era among people like me, especially, who aren't the biggest fans of it. And as well, obviously, Ruth, let's face it, Ruth's going to be in Series 13. Like,
she's definitely in it.
I'm calling that now.
100%. She's already been, it's been planned that she's going to be in it. I mean, they make her take part in the damn virtual calls of Zoom. They're like, hey, she's a doctor. They got her in T-shirts, in the action figures. Joker Smithers says again, say what you want about the current actor. He does a good job, but I miss the cold, calculating Time Lord villain rival. Not every master should be trying to radiate John Sim. I agree, but what I suggest is, see, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with confusion for the viewer, but the wrong kind of confusion will cause anarchy. And the type of confusion that he created about there being a whole line of doctors before William Hartnell is something that will destroy the show. My type of confusion would be having John Sim show up as the master with Sacha Dhawan, right?
That would be awesome.
And then
said that before, like, I think
you would have John Sim show up, and you would be worried about how the Doctor handles that master, because if she does something wrong and he dies, then he won't regenerate into other masters. So the timeline would be destroyed. So the point, what I would love for him to do is, because I always felt that John, in my brain, okay, I've said this numerous times, I felt that Matt Smith always had a master, that being Toby Jones. Yeah. That Toby Jones was an in-between where he was trying to go with a different identity, just like the Doctor was trying to be the War Doctor. The Master was trying to be something other than the Master that might be friends with the Doctor. Yeah. And he went with the Dream Lord type of thing. And it was a transition from Master Dream Lord to Missy. I'd love so that. if we had a all of a sudden Jodie's doctor's fighting the Master and he gets hurt and he regenerates, she gets shocked to see that it's Toby Jones regenerated, and then she's like, oh no, but thinking that she did something wrong, but then she has to dismiss it because they have to get out of there, the companions, because they're going to die. But I would love to see that, so that way you could say, okay, now that makes sense that Matt Smith had a master, which is really good. I mean,
I made a silly tweet about this. It was something to the effect of, "This is the best Doctor Master duo, changed my mind," and it's the Matt Smith with Toby Jones's Dream Lord, because they do have that chemistry immediately of a Doctor Master rivalry. And also on the cold calculating thing, not every master can be Roger Delgado. I get that that's a lot of people's preference to have the cold calculating one, but I do think at a certain point you can't just keep doing that over and over again. Because
I would suggest, here's the thing I would suggest with that. There is something going on with the 11th Doctor's timeline that has never really been explained. Moffat was supposed to explain it. He never really did. For some reason, I guess in the future, the Doctor will piss off Madame Corvarian, maybe she was a companion, so bad that she devotes her life to the church. She devotes her way to travel back in time and mess with the 11th Doctor's timeline. Now, if you remember, technically, for some mysterious reason, Missy was part of the 11th Doctor's timeline, but she was never shown to battle him. She gave Clara the phone number in the shop. So she was also messing with, I mean, Missy is, at the time would be a future incarnation of the Master, was messing with the 11th Doctor's timeline also. Something went on where they were trying to alter the Doctor's timeline, and I would like to know originally what was supposed to happen with the 11th Doctor's timeline. Like maybe he would become evil if people didn't intervene.
Around the Doctor that O met in before the events of Spyfall was the 11th, and that's obviously
the what?
Because obviously O says that he met the Doctor before.
As the 11th Doctor?
Yeah, like there's a theory going around that it was the 11th Doctor, and that's the Doctor he met. But obviously, knowing the revelations of what happened to Gallifrey, he knew he was too early on in the Doctor's time stream for him to find out about that. So he waited until a newer incarnation.
I mean, that's the thing. They waited into right, exactly, because even the Master, as crazy as he is, can't tread on the timeline because he would affect his own timeline. Hi, Charlie Bond. How you? So even the Master, as crazy as he is, would not interfere with the timeline to alter his own stuff, so to speak.
No, exactly.
So he would have to get caught, just like Captain Jack had in the Torchwood episode. Captain Jack was buried. Well, he was sent into the past, and he had to catch up with his timeline because he went and he saw Rose as a child. He told the Doctor this, like, because he was thrown into the past, if you remember, and he had to go through centuries without bumping into himself and stuff.
So that's probably where he could have. He either ran into the Doctor before the events of Spyfall or in between that period that you just mentioned there about when he had to wait like centuries to be able to,
or whatever. Yeah.
So there's two possibilities.
Because don't forget, like Peter Capaldi's Doctor was in the past as a teacher, professor,
and he also
with Missy in prison for like 800 years. Like supposedly.
The president for a short time as well. So it's no doubt he probably would have heard of him.
He would have bumped into himself, right? I mean, it would have been a crazy thing,
Yeah. No, but bottom line, I think, from this is that it's okay to be disappointed with what we got on the 23rd. It doesn't make you ungrateful at all. I've seen that be a sort of a theme by some people, is that, stop whining, we should be grateful whatever we get.
No, you shouldn't be, because here's the thing: it's a TV like anything else.
Raise your standards. Raise your standards. We had so much better than this marketing wise, even just going back a couple of years ago. And I get people got sick of being spoiled by things, but I would rather have these little trailers, these little spoilery trailers that Moffat used to do, just nothing at all, than radio silence. I think the perfect mix was probably what RTD did, where he didn't give too much away, but he gave you just enough to get you excited for what was coming up.
I think people need to understand that money is not an issue because they've gotten money from HBO Max and China. The issue is Chris Chibnall and the coronavirus. The coronavirus, like being out of filming and everything. So it's not.
Chris Chibnall doesn't want to spoil anything, which I get, but also you have to market your show.
You're going to cancel Doctor Who Magazine because you're not going to be able to promote it.
Well, no, because Doctor Who Magazine, the interviews in that are very surface level. They don't go into detail about stuff. They don't give anything away at all.
Right.
And I think there is definitely, I think maybe as well, I think there is a certain element of the marketing team's incompetence. I do think there is some of that there.
Something's wrong.
At least in the marketing team, which is why would you hype that up if you knew it was going to be something so minimal? I don't understand what their goal was there, because you had people being like, "Yay, Jack was back," which I think was what they were expecting. But
they knew he was coming back after the Fugitive.
But you also had a lot of people like me who were like, "Wait, is that it? Better not be it." We waited all day.
We all like that. We all were like, "This? Are you kidding me? Right now, this is the best you could do."
Yeah. I agree. It's like they could have done anything. I said, I think even a shot of the Dalek blowing something up, and maybe like, I don't know, another shot of like Jodie in prison, but like actually in a little teaser thing along with the Captain Jack thing, would have been at least something a little bit more. Give us.
We could have seen the companions talking, like we could have had Yasmin be like, "What are we gonna do?"
Just want to see the new Dalek.
Like, right, but even if we didn't, look, even if they didn't want to show anything, right? Because remember how they tried to keep the Dalek secret from Resolution, and people were like, "Are you kidding me?" And then they finally added the voice, like Exterminate or whatever, to that teaser trailer or whatever it was that time. So the thing is, then show Manda Gill interacting with her family or interacting with the companions. What are we gonna do? The Daleks are here. What are we gonna do?
There's that rumor that Trump guy from Arachnids in the UK is coming back. I think the actor's name's Chris North, who played Robertson, was the actual character there. I call him Trump guy because that's basically what he was. But like, show us a bit of him as well. Like, confirm that if he's there, which he should be, because there's like an Instagram post of him in Cardiff around the time they were filming Revolution of the Daleks back in October 2019. So that's pretty much in the bag. So show a bit of that. Like, obviously, I'm not a huge fan of him coming back.
Darius, let me just start talking about the comments because it's building up and I want to. Charlie Bonds, yes, how you doing, bro? It's good to see you. Thank you for your support. I love David Tennant too. Thank you very much for your support. Yeah, sometimes people say hateful things, but you know what? We got to be positive. We got to continue on. Bad Wolf, hello. Yes, Jamie, I remember the pizza trailer thing from a few years back. That was crazy.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, I remember when they did the thing. When Matt Smith's doctor introduced us to what the hashtag was.
Yeah,
that was a terrible teaser in itself.
But I mean,
this is a hashtag, everybody. We're going to use it now, especially on Twitter.
Children in need. That's another thing I want to mention. Obviously, I did a video about why that was disappointing.
God, that was disappointing.
A lot of people mistook that as me criticizing the charity.
No, because Chibnall does it. Yeah. Chibnall is trying to get away from the children in need thing. He doesn't want to promote Doctor Who at all with children in need. So he's just doing these meet and greets and these donation things.
I'm not saying we necessarily needed a trailer, right? But it was literally the laziest thing they could have done.
I'm saying we needed a trailer, flat out.
I mean, I think we needed one, but I think if they hadn't have done one, I wouldn't have been mad. But what gets to me is that they were literally in the TARDIS, in the same bubble. So why couldn't they film a silly little scene for children in need? What was stopping them? There's nothing
because Chibnall said no.
Yeah, other than that, but obviously,
let me tell you something. Chibnall is the showrunner. Chibnall decides. Chibnall has final say on anything connected with the show.
I think my point
everything comes in his office. If the action figures come out and be like, "Oh, I don't want it to be revealed that the Jadoon are back yet," hold off on that for a year. Oh, I don't want a Ruth figure yet. Oh, we got to give them shitty T-shirts because I don't want to reveal anything. So let's have a T-shirt with her in prison garb and scratch marks. Who would buy that, though? Yeah, who would buy a T-shirt with that? And another thing too, I just want to throw this out there about Doctor Who. Bad form, Doctor Who, for trying to get a cash grab by giving us a sonic screwdriver that is just for one storyline, called the Time Lord Victorious, and then mysteriously that sonic screwdriver will never be seen again or not part of canon. Shame on you, because now you're going to get us to buy that sonic screwdriver, and it doesn't count.
Yeah, it's probably the lamest.
Bad form.
It's probably the most generic, like the
That's the lamest marketing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the most uninteresting Sonic they could have done as well, because it's literally the 10th Doctor's one wrapped in some paper. It's like, okay. Yeah,
they should. If Chibnall wasn't worried about the action figures, right, and worried about spoiling Doctor Who, he should give the okay to let them put out classic sets of action figures. Like if they had a box set of the Happiness Patrol, where they had the Happiness Patrol with the pink TARDIS, with Fifi and the Candyman and all that, that would be my glory. I would be my glory.
Classic Who.
I know that I'm talking about different. I'm talking about different ones than the ones that they already have out, like Second Doctor. Thank you, mixing with Yaz, and thank you to Brigadier and Unit. I'm talking more stuff because the thing is, when Doctor Who is off the air, okay, in case the BBC didn't know this, all right, you need to create stuff throughout the year to keep people interested in Doctor Who. Besides that crazy Time Lord Victorious thing, you need to have You need to dig up missing episodes and find them. Make animations. You need to make more action figures. You need to make more Funko Pops. And I think it's safe to say that now you can have Doctor Who Funko Pops of the Ruth Doctor and of the Cyberlords. So I want to see waves of those Funko Pops that we can buy.
You can't just have one period in the year where things...
You can't just do nothing for the year.
Yeah, you can't just have one part where things come out, which is the series. But this is the thing that Russell T Davies did so well, is that as soon as an episode came out, they had the new figure, the new monster from that story in the shop the literal day after that episode aired.
And he made it for America to get it too. We had spent a lot of money, but they had the oversized Dalek.
Imagine
that was great.
Had Spyfall Part 1, and the literal day after that episode aired, you could go pick up a Sacha Dhawan master. Just
that would be great.
It would probably fly off the shelves as well.
It would fly off the shelves. It would make the BBC a lot of money. Okay,
I don't get why they don't do it.
I loved him so much that my kids, for my birthday, put Sacha Dhawan's master on a mug for me.
Oh, that's cool.
Because, I don't know if you've seen that on Twitter. So, all right. So here's the thing: how much can you talk about Doctor Who from a 5-second clip? Not a lot. So.
No, you
I know, here's the thing. I'm going to get going now, but I want you to check out Thierry's channel. He had a wonderful interview. You want to talk about that quickly?
Yeah, no, I interviewed Nicholas Briggs. It was great. He was lovely. I got a lot of the questions out that I wanted to ask him. Some of them were a bit more out there, apparently. But I think there were a lot of questions that I was curious about, and a lot of other people seem to be curious about as well. So, he was a lovely guy, though. He is literally, to me, one of the, arguably to be one of the best actors to be involved in the show. Like, he's just so nice and pure and just...
He responded to me too. Like he liked what I tweeted or something.
He's lovely.
Here's the thing. The fellow members of the Real Whovians cast, because there's not that much Doctor Who stuff to talk about. I'm gonna have my members watch your video theories.
Oh, thank
and
you.
We're gonna do a Real Whovians cast. Real Whovians cast. We're gonna do a Real Whovians cast based on your video. So I'm gonna put the link of the video in the Real Whovians cast, so that way when people watch my video, they can watch your video and you can get the views and the likes and everything. And please push Thierry's beyond 3,000.
Yeah, we're getting there slowly. Let's go. It's getting there slowly. It's periodically going upwards.
And you can subscribe to me too if you like.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, man. I'll be sure to that when you talk about the interview. I'll put something up on my channel saying.
Yeah. Because of the coronavirus, it takes a couple of days for me to reach my members, but we're gonna get it up this week, and we're gonna review.
I'll be watching it because it was quite surreal, that interview. It really was.
I gotta tell you, I was very proud of you. That you got that, because here's the thing: it's people don't understand. It's not that easy to get these guys to do it.
Because everyone was asking me like, "Oh, how did you get him?" And I'm like the short answer is I just asked, and that sounds really easy. But there is
sometimes it doesn't work for everybody else too, because you can get them on a bad day, or you can get them in the middle of filming. But we had
reached out to a few people and haven't had responses yet from a few other people. So it's
one of my members had reached out and got interviews too. So it's the thing where you did great, dude. You got him. That's the main thing.
And I think it was a good. I think it's definitely the best podcast so far that I've done. Like obviously,
I didn't talk about it too much because I wanted to give it a proper promotion.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that and to honor that and you is to do a whole cast on it.
Yeah,
which we can, because it's not like it's a 5-second clip. So
it's like an hour and 30.
Right. So we have to watch that. So
fun fact about that: the last thing I'll say is that I am actually.
Subscribe to Bedwolf66 also.
Yes.
My video game correspondent. Yes.
But yes, the last thing I'll say on that is that it actually cut off a bit too late because I got someone else to help me with the editing on that. So you heard a little bit of the behind-the-scenes conversation afterwards, which wasn't intentional. But I think he was just so nice. Luckily you didn't hear the super soppy parts of our little conversation where I was thanking him and stuff, because I don't like to come across as particularly soppy.
You're like a fanboy though. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Dogs in my house.
It was great. He was lovely about it though. Like he was.
I
So
know you were nervous, and you had to be.
yeah,
I would be nervous too talking to him.
Yeah, I was. Here. Hopefully, it didn't come across too badly. Yeah, thank you for having me on, man. It was cool just to vent about stuff. I think it was.
Yes.
It's necessary sometimes, you know.
Oh, I do want to say one thing too. A lot of us are experiencing this thing where YouTube is holding our videos or yellow flagging our videos for 24 hours, or there's this up and down subscriber count. Now, if you go on Social Blade, if you go on Social Blade, there's always a block of subscribers. Exactly 10, right? Which is for everybody. For some reason, YouTube is taking 10 subscribers, they're checking it out, they're unsubscribing it to our channel, then they're putting them back for whatever reason. So my channel especially has gone through fluctuations of 50 subscribers. So or 40 subscribers. I went from 1740 to 1710. And then at the end of the month, it fluctuates back. But you have to wait a whole month before you get those subscribers back. I don't know what's going on. But just, you know what? Please check to see if you're subscribed to all of us, because YouTube is unsubscribing you to our channels. And I'm noticing that some of my friends are resubscribed back and they don't even know it because YouTube is making them unsubscribe. So you guys, if you guys are a fan of me and Tharies, you know, and Bad Wolf and everything, like, just make sure if you're subscribed that you're still subscribed. And if you want notifications on, that's great. It's some type of maintenance that's going on with YouTube. So, and just, you know, we'll all be communicating with each other. Like, I'll be talking to Tharies if I can't see his video, he'll be talking to me. Because right now I think people can't see the podcast I did last night in the wee hours in the morning with the Real Whovians and the Everything Show. Yeah, it's blocked for some reason. Yeah. So hopefully you guys will be able to see that in 24 hours. I apologize. I have no control over that. YouTube is, for some reason, is against streaming sometimes. So just bear with us. But just, you know, you have to actually, like, sometimes, I think with your video too, sometimes, Tharies, we can't just find it. We have to, like, search. Because on your channel, it won't come up that it's there. Yeah. But we have to put, like,
I have this really weird thing as well where, like, my view count is wildly inconsistent as well. Like, obviously, I know that some videos, naturally, by the nature of them, will do better than others. But, like, it does tend to vary wildly. And I think part of that might be to do with, like, so I've had comments from some people saying they don't get notifications for videos. And obviously, when they don't get notifications, they don't know it's out. And then, you know, so that's the whole thing as well. So
I had a video where it had 10,000 views, and it was from the Orville. And I think I made a penny off of it. But then I had a video like the donut lesson, which had like 40 views. And people, I'd made like over $10. It's the weirdest thing. Like, and especially people who like the donut lesson so much, they would donate it to my channel. They paid me $50. So I don't know. We can never tell on our channel what content is going to generate the best.
Yeah,
like
I mean, what people guess, but it's
right. I mean, I had a video about Friday the 13th in the snow, and it had 18,000. It was like, wow. You know, we can never know what people like and don't like. We just do what we have to do because it's fun. We don't do it for the views. So we'll have some weird consistencies where we'll have Doctor Who videos that have thousands, and we don't make a dime. Or it will have hundreds and we make money, you know. So
yeah, like even my most popular video, it was up and monetized for a good few days. It made about 20 quid. It's the Jodie Whittaker regeneration one. It's probably one of my, I'll be honest, probably one of my less good, worst videos. But like it's got on about 80,000 views total now. But it got demonetized once it got to like 20 quid because they found this one scene that apparently they didn't pick up on before that was up for just too long for them to flag it. And by that time, it was too late for me to get rid of it. So, yeah, that's why I would always say to people as well, don't pick YouTube as a career path because it's so inconsistent. you never know from month to month what you're gonna get. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to both of us. I think it was.
Bad Wolf, I will not do the water lesson. I was thirsty, man. I drank for 5 seconds.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
There won't be no water lesson.
Yeah, I mean, people keep asking me. I started up a Minecraft server because you're a bit of a gamer, and you know, people keep asking me to do videos on that, and I'm like, if people saw me playing games with friends, they think I was a dick because I'm just a dick to my friends whenever I'm online. You know,
I started doing the donut lesson because Yvette said in Blackpool they didn't have donut shops, and she said that maybe people would like to see in America all the different types of donuts. So I did it as a joke, and then it got to be so much fun. And then at some point in time, I was going to stop it, and then people kept donating to my channel, wanting to see the donut lesson. And donut lesson became very popular, and then evolved into pizza lesson, and it's a running joke. And the whole thing is that for some reason people were taking it too seriously, like. You know, it was always meant to be a joke. Like, have fun with it. Look at the donut, but don't expect me to be like, oh, the donut needs to be this size, and you know, just have fun. That was the whole thing. You'll see me stuffing my face, like whatever. It's a joke. Have fun with it. But lately in the Whovian community, there's a lot of people are going after a lot of people, and we need to have a positive thing. I'm gonna do my thing. Tharius is gonna do his thing. We may not all get along, but we love talking about doctrine. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, we have to get out of here. I have to run out. Unfortunately, I'm working tomorrow on Thanksgiving, so I have to run out and do my banking now. So thank you, Tharius. Check out Tharius' channel and check out his interview with Nicholas Briggs. Right?
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah.
All right, I appreciate, bro, you coming on. And Bad Wolf, I will see you later. All right. Take care. Bye for now.